Yeah, so they make it with KZ too. That's the other side effect of that style of window.
Yeah.
The attic access is in this closet here. The attic looked pretty good, other than what we talked about, the wiring being covered up, the insulation. I didn't really see any significant rodent intrusion or trails in the insulation. That's a really common thing, so kind of don't really have that here. Structurally, it looks good. I didn't see any signs of cracked rafters or things like that. So actually, the attic overall looks pretty good. So let me see.
Where is it? That's right in.
The hatch is right up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a kind of passageway up to the top there. It's a big, healthy attic space too. So if you want to frame that up and use it for storage, maybe a bigger hatch there,
Yeah.
or pull downstairs in the hallway, you can certainly do that. See what else. Dated bathroom picture here. Yeah. Fill below the water line there. It also has the old drum trap. They're still pretty common to see that, but they tend to plug up with debris. If you're gonna just move in right away and use the shower as it is, you can see there's a little bit of a drip there. So you got older, these have little seals in there that you can replace and tighten up too as they start to leak. So that's kind of the older style of valve. So yeah, some serious updating could be done here. Other than that, though, it is functional. You can see the water flow here. You see, as I turn both of these on, you can see that this water flow here changes. Cuts it maybe about in half or so. So there's a really good chance there's some galvanized somewhere in the walls there. I can see the here, it's still copper right there. But,
It's pretty common.
yeah. The other thing too is this is a galvanized supply. Try with cold water. It does it pretty evenly with the cold water, so it looks to me like it's probably just from that galvanized supply.
Okay.
And not galvanizing the walls here. So since we can't see all the plumbing, there's a chance there's a chunk left in there, but I'm betting that it's more likely just the supply pipe that's causing that to happen. So, that's actually pretty much it up here. I mean, they have it all cleared out, so it's easy to see where everything is. There's no furniture in the way. Of course, the crack window screens there's a window with glass and a squeeze with itself there. Yeah, that's pretty much the interiors overall. Take a look at the outside.
I actually have a couple questions.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so these windows need to be replaced. So we already talked about that. Okay, how is the heating, cooling? You said it's pretty good.
Yeah, furnaces in
And,
good shape.
and are most houses out here oil, I guess? Or?
Lots of them are. Yeah. Gas is preferred.
Okay.
It's you don't have anybody knocking on your door. You don't have to service them necessarily every year. A new gas furnace maybe every 3 years or so. Most people pretty much don't service their gas furnace for the most part, but you should.
Okay.
And then of course the efficiency goes up, so you're paying less for energy to heat the house. If you go with a high efficiency gas furnace as opposed to just a standard efficiency, you're even further boosting that. An oil furnace like this is probably 60% efficient, so 40% of the energy that you're paying for in the form of oil ends up getting burned and going right out the chimney flue.
Okay.
With a high efficiency, it's like sometimes mid-90s, sometimes higher than that if it's a modern high efficiency furnace. So you're losing, 6% of the heat as opposed to 60. So there's a big jump there in terms of energy efficiency, and then there's even better options yet, like heat pump systems that can even further reduce your energy consumption, or at least the cost, the amount of cost you heat the house. So yeah, that's the big one. Is the energy consumption.
Okay.
And the cost of heating.
And do you know how much it would usually cost to replace the knob and tube?
It depends. Like if you go and replace all of the wiring, or if you just do, for instance, the attic, if you wanted to add more insulation up there and further keep the heat in the house, then that's one bid. I bet you're going to pay an electrician. I'll include in this the cost of maybe removing the insulation, but because usually removing the insulation and re-insulating is going to be usually in the 2,500, somewhere like that. 2,000 maybe, because this one's pretty easy to get to. And then, so what they'll do is they'll clean out the attic of the insulation, they'll remove it, and the electrician will come in, rewire, and then the insulator will come back in and re-insulate. So if you consider about 2,000, 2,500 for all the insulation work, and then maybe another 1,500 $1,500 for the electrician to go through and rewire up there. We're talking about just upstairs here, so
Yeah,
$1,000, $1,500, something like that. And so you're looking at what, 3,000 to 4,000, all said and done, for the upper level. And then if you do all the lower areas here, you know, just having an electrician come through and rewire what's here right now, you might spend another 3,500 for that as well. But what you'll usually find that you want to do is, while the electrician's here, add some circuits as well, because you'll find this one has a couple circuits already. But like this bedroom here, for example, what do we have?
It's like 1 or 2.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3 at the very most. I think it's just 2. And so a modern code would require 5 per bedroom. So we have 3 here. Just for access, you know, the bed's here, that means all this stuff we plug in. So here's where the nightstand over here gets harder to do. So you might want more outlets, especially in kitchens. The kitchen countertop a lot of times you want more outlets there. So they'll probably add a little bit more. So that could bump up the bid from there. And it depends a lot on who you go with and shopping around to, and kind of the extent of the work you're doing. But that's kind of the ballpark that I would expect for that kind of work. The roof looks pretty good. It's a little mossy in spots there, but it looks like it's maybe 10, 15 years old. At least that's the weathering that it's showing. I'm only seeing 1 layer, so it looks like there's just 1 layer of roofing. A lot of times they do 2 layers, which you don't. It's not ideal. And then the flashings they use for all the vent pipes that you can't see from here are all LED flashings, which is definitely the last life of the roof. So less maintenance. And then they have the gutter guard along here to help protect the gutters from contamination. So it's just, you'll still want to maintain it. Blocks off here. Maybe cleaning out the gutters a little bit. Looks like some debris did make its way in there. But once it's all cleaned out and ready to go, it's going to require minimal maintenance. The tree's going to kick a little bit more on there, so you may want to clean it off a little bit more because of that. But it's a good 30-year roof, and it looks like it probably has about.
Sweet.
The drainage system out here is going to be originally clay drains. If you have a picture here, clay drains, which are just like, you can picture a 2-foot chunk of pipe and then just stacked next to each other. That creates like a channel for the water to pass through, but it also makes it really easy for roots to get in. So a lot of times these have failed by now. And so, especially like if there's a tree nearby, if they fail and water starts draining right next to the house, you know, it fills up the gutters here and then starts collecting next to the home, it can leak into the basement pretty quickly. So, so that's why it's not something necessarily needs to be fixed. But if you notice water pooling up, then you know for sure that it should